A Waco firefighter is in the hospital after falling from a ladder while off duty.
The 17-year veteran of the fire department is waiting to undergo surgery, but has lost most movement in his body. News 10's Aaron Zeller has that story.
Garth Goodwin has been serving the city of Waco for 17 years, but on Thursday, he was severely hurt in an off-duty accident.
It's bad, deal, and I've tried to reassure him, that, hey, just kind of hang in there. We don't know anything yet.
He was working part-time on a billboard in McGregor when he came in contact with the power line. He was shocked and fell to the ground, where he laid for almost 3 hours before someone found him.
Might have fell anywhere between 10 and 14 foot.
Lieutenant Lewis Biddle, a close friend and fellow fireman, explains what was going through Garth's head.
He remembers the whole thing, and he remembers when he got shocked, his whole body it locked up, and he was just like stiff.
No one saw him through the tall grass, but a neighbor heard his cell phone ringing. He was then taken to Hillcrest Hospital and transported to Parkland in Dallas.
But the surgery itself is really just to stabilize his spine so he doesn't cause or create any more damage.
He suffered burns from the shock and broke his T3 in his spine, leaving him paralyzed. And doctors are preparing for the worst.
They don't expect him to get any movement back below his chest line.
Friends, family, and the community have poured in support for Goodwin, who spent his days putting his life on the line for others.
With the firefighter community, we're all family.
Goodwin will have surgery on Monday, and this firefighter will keep on fighting. In McGregor, Aaron Zeller, Kwtx News 10.
A Waco firefighter is out of surgery and recovering after he's hurt in an off-duty accident. Garth Goodwin had surgery yesterday, as reportedly he's in good spirits. He was changing an ad on a billboard in McGregor when he was shocked by a power line, then fell about 10 feet to the ground. He was there for 3 hours before somebody found him. His injuries include burns and a break to his spine, which doctors are concerned may leave him with some paralysis.
Well, it's been just 2 weeks since Waco firefighter Garth Goodwin was involved in a very freak accident and left paralyzed from the chest down. Garth is a 17-year veteran of the Waco Fire Department, but on this day he was working off-duty on a billboard when he came into contact with the power line and fell. Garth survived that fall, but he had a spinal cord injury that has left him unable to move from the chest down. And today he is in a Dallas rehab facility where his friends and family say despite everything, he remains positive and optimistic about his future. His wife Lisa has been right by his side from the very beginning, and she is joining us today at noon. Lisa, thanks for being here with us. I know it's a hard and it's a busy time for you.
Yes, thank you though.
Can you take us back to May the 10th, how the accident occurred?
Well, actually I was he didn't pick our son up from the school bus, and so we knew something was up. And then he just, they called, I went and got our son, and then from then on it just kind of went downhill. He didn't have his phone with him, and so once the lady actually found him 2 hours later, that she kind of answered, told me what had happened, and that they had called the ambulance, and I immediately went to McGregor, and it just was kind of, they didn't really know much at the time. They sent him to Hillcrest, and then from there they flew him to Parkland.
And Lisa, he was, we're looking at some scene video here, he was working on a billboard, and somehow apparently something that was metal came into contact with the power line above. That is when he fell to the ground, and you said you all think that he laid there for 2 to 3 hours, yes. But you said he remembers everything.
He even remembers being electrocuted. He says that when he was up there on the sign that he actually felt being electrocuted, and even was telling himself, I'm being electrocuted right now. And at that time, he fell back. He remembers falling. He says that when he fell on his back, he bounced on his stomach and laid there. And that's actually where he laid for the 2 hours that, till the lady found him in McGregor.
And you mentioned the way that you all realized something was wrong was your son. Your son, Cutter, is 19 years old. Tell us about Cutter and his relationship with his dad.
Cutter was born with a partial corpus callosum. He's very delayed, and him and his dad have a very good relationship. That's why we knew something was wrong, because Garth would have never not picked him up from the bus, or he would have had somebody there to get him if he couldn't. And so when he actually could not get there, the school called, and then we were like, okay, something's not right. Cutter's very affectionate, and he his daddy loves him a lot.
And one reason that you're actually home here in Waco, you have been in Dallas. He was at Parkland and then transferred over to Zale-Lipsche.
Right.
But one reason you're here is your son had a need that he needed tended to. I believe it was dislocation of his knee.
Yes.
And you had to come home and care for him. So
Yes.
right now you're really trying to balance your son who requires full-time care and your husband who is up in the hospital. That has to be extremely difficult.
Yes, but it's been amazing. We have had the family and friends have just been awesome. The Dallas Fire Department has been awesome. Waco Fire Department, I mean, you just can't even imagine. I mean, we're so blessed. They've had benefits. They've, it's incredible. I mean, and I had told my mom at one time, or my mom actually told me, she was like, when you're this way to people and people see this in you, then this is what you get in return. And I mean, it's been awesome. It's just.
Well, we have something that might surprise you. It may not surprise you since you're talking about how loving the community has been at the fire department. If you can take a look outside of our studios right now. Do you know what engine that is?
Is that?
That's
it.
That's engine 9.
Oh.
This is your husband's team.
Oh my gosh.
They're coming in right now. Yes, they are. They wanted to be here to hug your neck while you're in town, let you know how much they love you. And you said that's his family, right? The guys that ride on that truck?
Yes, he loves them. It's killing him.
So you recognize those two that are about to make it into our studio. And you said their support. I mean, they're having a golf tournament coming up. They've got these great shirts, Team Garth shirts that they've made for you. I know that this is emotional. It's emotional watching it play out, but we're going to scoot over so that they can come here with you. Look at here.
Oh, y'all are so sweet. Oh my gosh, I'm good. Oh my gosh.
There's a third member, but we have him. He was doing the lights and sounding the horn. So what do these guys mean to your family right now?
Oh gosh, they're awesome. I mean, they have been with him since day one. The night that it happened, they were at the hospital before we were. I mean, it's just, I can't even explain. And I know just them being in his life, it just makes it just 10 times better. And he just knows that he has them behind him. And if he needed anything, and he knows that they would take care of me and my son, our son.
I know.
If he can't. So it's been.
Where do I go?
Oh, we love you. Yeah.
It's been so sweet.
Tell us about Garth, your partner.
He's a one of a kind guy. He's the best. I mean, like he would do this for us, no doubt. Very caring guy.
And what was it for you that makes Garth so special? Come on in. We got another one here with us. Sorry, we had you honking the horn.
Yeah.
You're so sweet. Oh, I love y'all. Yes, I know. I'm like,
By the way, Lieutenant David Lopez, Engineer Jay Jeffrey, Firefighter Clint Clover is who is joining us, and this is Engine 9. So the other member of Engine 9 is your husband Garth. When something like this happens, I mean, it is like going through a tragedy with your own immediate family, right?
Absolutely. I've known Garth. I mean, I went to fire academy with him, so I've known him for a really long time.
What makes him so special? The things that I read about your husband is Garth would give you the shirt off his back. How would you describe
Garth
that?
is the most positive person I've ever known, especially going through what he's going through now.
You
can really see it.
We have some photos of his recovery that you were so kind to share with us that we're going to show. He is, so far is paralyzed from the chest down, although he has shown some reflexes recently that make you guys hopeful, But
yes.
you said, oh, this is great. Is this I'm assuming this is that's the guys, huh?
Yes.
And then what about here? What's
he was just wanting to go outside. He had been inside, and that was kind of right after surgery. And so they were like, let's get you outside and let's from fresh air, and he really enjoyed it. So we kind of took a tour of the hospital and outside in the cafeteria, and but he enjoyed it.
And you said that he's already talking about his rehab and learning how to live life in a wheelchair, if that's what it is, and that he wants to find a job back at the fire station that he can do in that wheelchair.
He is very positive. I mean, that's what he said. He said, if I can get in a chair and I can, you know, have life this way, then that's fine. But, you know, I want to go back to work. I want to be with my friends, you know, and I mean, he's very, and he probably will. I mean, that's just how he is. I mean, he's very positive.
And you guys are saving a spot for him there at the firehouse, I guess.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right, well, we are going to put a bunch of information on our website following this interview. There's a golf tournament coming up. You can purchase these T-shirts. There's 2 different ones, Team Garth. These are great. And any help that you can provide to this amazing family who has done so much to protect all of our own families here in Central Texas would be greatly appreciated. Lisa, you are such a brave and amazing mother and wife, and you are experiencing something that no one should ever have to go through, but I'm so thankful that you have this other extended family here to help you make it through. Guys, thank you for your service and for all that you do for our community. We appreciate all of you.
Thank you very
We'll
much.
be right back.
A local sandwich shop that joined the effort to help an injured Waco firefighter says its fundraiser today was a success. 20% of today's proceeds at Firehouse Subs Waco went to help Garth Goodwin. We've just learned more than $1,300 was raised. The general manager says they had a busy day with lots of people coming in specifically to support Goodwin. The veteran firefighter was paralyzed from the chest down in an off-duty work accident earlier this month. He remains at a rehab facility in Dallas. The company wishes him and his family a full and speedy recovery. Community members have been rallying around a Waco firefighter who was injured in an off-duty accident, and the support continues. Garth Goodwin, who is a 17-year veteran of the department, was paralyzed after falling off a ladder. Over the past few weeks, the Waco Firefighters Association has held fundraisers at Genghis Grill and Firehouse Subs. Today, Chief Bobby Tatum presented Garth with a check.
Today has been awesome. We appreciate it so much. I know that Garth appreciates it. All these people and friends and family that have come out, and he just is overwhelmed. It's just been amazing, all the support that we've had.
So far, more than $2,000 has been raised to help with Garth's recovery.
Garth Goodwin is relearning how to do pretty much everything these days, but despite his prognosis, he's doing it all with a smile.
Garth Goodwin loves life, the lake, and the links. But most of all, the 17-year Waco Fire Department veteran loves wearing the uniform.
And I've always said that's probably been the best thing that's ever happened to me and my family was getting a job at the Waco Fire Department.
His fellow firefighters say he's a man who always wears a smile, even in the toughest of situations.
It's not so bad. I mean, I'm still sitting upright, you know, still breathing.
And in his 8th floor room at Zale Lipshe Hospital in Dallas, Garth hasn't lost that smile.
All right.
What do you remember about the accident?
Everything. I don't think I lost consciousness through any of it.
On May the 10th, Garth was working off-duty on this billboard in McGregor when a metal pole came into contact with a power line. Garth fell 13 feet to the ground, and he quickly realized he was seriously hurt.
When I lay there and I felt down, I felt my hips, and I knew I couldn't feel them. You know, and I kind of reached up to try to feel how much feeling I had. You know, it kind of hit me. I go, okay, you are paralyzed, you know, from the chest down. And I remember laughing, you know, just kind of laying there going, well, now you done it.
Garth lay there for hours, unable to move or call for help, until a woman who lives nearby finally found him.
So I just laid there, and I didn't really have the energy to holler, to scream. You know, I just didn't have that function. So I just waited and kind of fought some fire ants off a little bit.
While he waited, Garth's thoughts were on the burden he could be on a family that's already dealing daily with a daunting challenge.
Hey, you got any sugar? No.
This is Cutter, Garth and his wife Lisa's only son, born without a portion of his brain. The 19-year-old doesn't speak, and has the mental capabilities of a 7-year-old. He's also Garth's best friend.
A big hug, a big hug, big hug. He's the man, you know. He's tougher than I am. He's been through some pretty bad stuff.
Garth said Cutter is his inspiration.
He knows I'm hurting. He'll come in the mornings and give me a kiss. And that makes it the day a lot better. Some of the stuff I've seen him do, I've seen him have to pull through some pretty bad situations. And if I can't do it, then, well, I will do it.
Garth's days now are filled with hours of therapy.
Good, there we go.
Relearning how to do pretty much everything.
You know, today was the first day I put my shoes on by myself.
And his therapists say he somehow does it all with that same Garth smile.
He has a lot of pain. He has, obviously huge physical challenges. He's gone through multiple surgeries. Despite all that, I mean, he just has a positive attitude every single day.
I got pretty good help.
Garth's goal is to wear the uniform again in some capacity, and he knows plenty of people are rooting for him.
You realize what friends are when you get put into a situation and you see the response. And that's what I've got. I've got friends, you know, real friends, family.
Garth is expected to be home from the hospital in the next few weeks. When he makes it home, his fire team wants to make sure that he has a wheelchair-accessible home. There's an effort underway right now by the department to build Garth Goodwin a brand new home. We will have more on that effort coming up tomorrow on Kwtx. An absolutely amazing man, and we are wishing him the very best.
Momentum is building to help a paralyzed Waco firefighter. The Waco Fire family wants to build a new house for Garth Goodwin to come home to when he gets out of the hospital. And now the construction community is getting involved. News 10's Rissa Shaw is here. So Rissa, people are coming out of the woodworks to help.
Yes, Gordon, it's been almost a month since Garth was shocked and fell 13 feet from a billboard, leaving him with a broken back and spinal cord injury that's so severe he's now bound to a wheelchair. But like the fires he's fought for 17 years, this man's fighting spirit now has the community fully involved.
Firefighter is his job title, but being a fighter is who Garth Goodwin is.
You know, he's a fighter. This thing's going to slow him down, but it's not going to stop him, and so we want to help him.
A freak off-duty accident last month left Garth paralyzed. His coworkers, his friends, rushed to his side.
We were all kind of devastated by it, but he's had a positive attitude throughout it all.
And that positive attitude has inspired these firefighters to fight for Garth.
We're going to build him a house, yeah.
The idea has spread like wildfire, with dozens of people and businesses responding to a Facebook post, donating services and time to help the fire department build a new house for Garth and his family to meet their new needs.
I would say, 50% of the house has already been committed to turnkey donations from roofers, from concrete workers to doors and trim, hardware, electrical, plumbing. It's amazing the response that we had in just 24 hours.
People are just coming out of the woodwork to help Garth.
His boss, Fire Chief Bobby Tatum, says they made a commitment to Garth to not only be there for him at first, but long term.
We talk about being a fire department family, and we stress that and emphasize it, and now we're really putting our mouth, money where our mouth is, so to speak.
Being around here and seeing the brotherhood and the camaraderie and this is something that's real, and it's something that they're wanting to do.
While the desire to help Garth is growing,
we've really seen the best in people.
Building a house is a lot of work, but as Garth fights to recover and come home, his friends, and now the community, are vowing to fight for Garth to have a better place to come home to.
Everybody's jumped in both feet, and we're ready to go.
We're not going to stop till it's done.
Enough money has been raised to buy the land out in Moody, but here's some of what still needs to be done to get Garth the home he deserves. They need concrete, lumber, insulation, flooring, and cabinets, and the bodies to do all of it. And time is of the essence. Garth should be released from the hospital in a few weeks. A new home won't only make Garth more comfortable. He and his wife Lisa have a 19-year-old son named Cutter, who is disabled and needs around-the-clock care. In the studio, Rissa Shaw, KWTX News 10.
Most of the house has been donated, but organizers say they still have a long way to go and more help is needed. Goodwin was paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident last month. Not only does he have a disabled son at home, but now he will be using a wheelchair. Goodwin currently lives in a two-story rental, so his fellow firefighters want to build him a wheelchair-accessible home. The local construction industry has come together to donate about 80% of the house, but they still need some big-ticket items like windows and lumber.
Maybe we can get companies to work together and get some lumber donated, get the labor donated, and try to help, offset some costs that way with people working together.
There are many ways people can donate. Go to our website, kwtx.com, for more information.
Family, friends, and fellow firefighters were there to surprise Garth Goodwin as he finally came home from the hospital today.
News 10's Rissa Shaw was there for the special moment, and Rissa, I bet he's glad to be home.
He sure is, Gordon, but while he's been working hard with physical therapists and doctors in Dallas to build up his strength to come home, the hardest part is still ahead. Garth's life will never be the same because he will be in a wheelchair. Making it easier, though, is a community that is holding him up.
Coming home in a wheelchair may not seem like a joyful occasion.
Cutter's so happy to be home.
From now on, even getting out of the car will be a struggle.
Push on that board. I got it. Push on that board.
But the Goodwins were all smiles Wednesday.
All right, nothing to it. Sir. All right.
Garth came home to family, friends, and firefighters cheering him on.
It's good to see all of y'all. I'm glad you're home. It's good to be here.
One by one.
I'm gonna go get back in line.
They lined up to see the Waco firefighter who's been living in a Dallas hospital room since the middle of May.
The smells. I'm just happy with the smells. Y'all don't even know.
Garth was paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident and is now bound to a wheelchair.
I want to try to get back to as much of a normal life as what I had before. I mean, I know it's different, but...
Different, yes, but with an attitude like Garth's, far from over.
I think people say when things happen like this, you really find out, what kind of person they really, whatever, but that is him.
The kind of person Garth is inspired his fire department to help the man they say has helped them and the community for 17 years. A ramp isn't good enough. They want to build him a new, fully wheelchair-accessible home.
It's the smallest little things that matter, putting on his shoes, just being able to sit on the bathroom toilet and use the bathroom, and he won't even be able to do that here in our house.
The responsibilities for Garth's wife, Lisa, are going to double. They already have a 19-year-old disabled son at home, but she sees it as an advantage.
One day at a time, and that's what I pretty much have told Garth, we got this, we'll just one day at a time.
And the community has got them. 80% of the new house has been donated, but they still need the lumber to get it done.
Once we get lumber, and I know the framers will come, if we have to frame it ourselves, man, we're going to build a house in no time.
We got things to do. We're busy. As hard as I can go,
And they're going. Another milestone today for Team Garth. This morning was the first construction meeting to build the Goodwins a new home. Again, they desperately need the lumber donated to make sure that this happens. Visit our website, kwtx.com, for more information on how you can help. Now, Garth's only request, Gordon and Tara, was a patio for that new home.
A Waco firefighter who was paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident will be getting a new home.
That's right. Plans have been in the works for weeks, but the final piece of the puzzle came when Waco's fixer-upper stars stepped in. Chip and Joanna Gaines found out that local contractors and firefighters were trying to build Garth Goodwin a new wheelchair-accessible home. Goodwin was paralyzed last month when he fell while working on a billboard in McGregor.
Since then, dozens of volunteers have been working to get a new home built for the 17-year veteran firefighter. While they had more than 70 contractors committed to doing the work, they still needed one big item, the lumber. Chip and Joanna Gaines have now offered to donate the money to buy all of it.
A blessing for them to jump in there. They don't have to do that. It's not for their show. It's not going to be on TV. It's just them doing what's right, just like every other contractor on that list.
And though they have never met, Garth has a tie to the celebrities. He works on their rolling billboards used to reveal homes on the hit show. A big honor for a local firefighter paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident. Garth Goodwin was just selected to be the honoree and beneficiary of a big fireman's ball in the Dallas area. It's called the Colbert Project, and it was started after Garland firefighter Devin Colbert was paralyzed in a car accident. Each year, the nonprofit picks one person, part of the fire family, to be honored at a fireman's ball, and they receive all the money raised from it. Garth received a dozen nominations, more than any in its more than 4-year history.
A local firefighter who was paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident in May didn't let his new challenges get in the way of a family vacation to the beach.
That's right. Garth Goodwin just returned from a week-long stay in Destin, Florida. The trip was scheduled before the accident, and Goodwin's family wanted to make sure he still got to go. So 19 members of Garth's family did whatever they could to make that trip happen. They rented an RV and drove him on the 13-hour trek. Once they arrived, they rented a special scooter that allowed him to drive out onto that beach.
Garth even got a chance to fish, one of his favorite hobbies. While Garth's vacation is over, he has plenty to look forward to. A big effort is underway to build the firefighter a handicap-accessible home. A group of volunteers is hoping to break ground later this week.
You're watching KWTX News 10.
The Waco firefighter, recently paralyzed in a freak off-duty accident, received a letter from the governor of Texas, also paralyzed later in his own life, telling him that he understands. Texas Governor Greg Abbott sent this letter to Waco firefighter Garth Goodwin. In it, Abbott said, quote, "As you likely know, I was partially paralyzed by a falling tree while jogging shortly after graduating law school. As someone who has had their own unexpected battles in life, I recognize that you are facing challenges few could imagine. However, as one of our state's invaluable firefighters, I also recognize your incredible courage and indomitable spirit." Abbott was paralyzed when he was 26 years old while he was out jogging in Houston following a storm. Garth Goodwin was paralyzed back in May after falling from a billboard in McGregor while working off duty. The Goodwin family says it is the sweetest letter that they've ever received.
Well, hundreds showed their support at a fundraiser for Garth Goodwin, the Waco firefighter who suffered an accident that left him paralyzed. A team roping event was held in his honor today at the Extraco Event Center Coliseum. About 600 teams participated in the roping fundraiser, something that Garth says he once loved to do. There was a live and silent auction and a special presentation from State Representative Doc Anderson. Organizers anticipate they'll raise about $40,000 that will help create a handicap-accessible home for the family.
It's so much appreciated, and I don't think there's any way we could ever repay that. You know, we're going to try, but there's no way to repay that.
The team roping fundraiser continues until 10 p.m. tonight.
And welcome back. A heartwarming moment when a Texas teen wins big at the Garth Goodwin team roping fundraiser. It was a great feat for the teen, but that is not the moment that is inspiring all of Central Texas. 17-year-old Lane LaFontaine of Alvarado won both big events at the fundraiser over the weekend, and that's when he decided to look for Garth Goodwin, a veteran Waco firefighter who was paralyzed after falling from a billboard while working off-duty in May, and the man who the event honored. LaFontaine's father captured that special moment when his son gave his prize money to Goodwin. The teen says Goodwin didn't want to take the check, so he just put it in his pocket. Waco firefighter Garth Goodwin fell off of a billboard, leaving him paralyzed.
Today, Team Garth broke ground on a new home for the Goodwin family to help make their lives a little bit easier. News 10's Rissa Shaw got to see their progress being made at the home out in Moody. Rissa, it is all because of donations.
It is, Tara, and that's why Garth wouldn't let anything get in the way of making today's groundbreaking, not even a trip to the ER.
Since he was paralyzed in May, Garth Goodwin has had good days and bad days.
I'm a little worse for wear today.
Thursday was a bad day.
Some of my body's still recovering, still healing, and some stuff that I can't control, my blood pressure and stuff like that.
That stuff landed Goodwin in the emergency room, but he was determined to make it to the groundbreaking of his new home. Not even dirt could stop him.
It's big. I mean, it's something we've been looking forward to for the last 3.5 months.
It's been a team effort to get to this point.
He is one heck of a fireman, and we sure do miss him there. But the experience since then with the house and everything, and the people that we've seen come out and donate, and their generosity has been an amazing thing to see.
From the materials to the labor, everything for the Goodwin's new home has been donated by people and businesses inspired by Garth's story.
I can't imagine, you know, where they're at and what they've gone through, and you know, I know that when we get this project finished that they'll be in a better place. This house is going to help them tremendously.
I want them to know what they've been doing has kept us going this last few months. They're taking care of it, and they're taking care of us, and it's unbelievable what all they've done.
They've already filled the pad, and they'll start the framing and plumbing next week. They're hoping to have the Goodwins in their new home by Christmas. Reporting in the studio, Rissa Shaw, KWTX News 10.
All right, check this out. Pretty amazing. We've been following the story of Waco firefighter Garth Goodwin, who was recently paralyzed. But take a look who's behind the wheel. That's Garth in the driver's seat. He got his own special set of wheels and can now drive thanks to hand controls. Goodwin was paralyzed from the waist down in an off-duty accident in May. He now uses a wheelchair to get around. His family says this is a huge step toward Garth gaining independence.
Welcome back. We've been keeping you posted on Garth Goodwin's progress and the progress of his new home. Construction of a house is underway for the Waco firefighter who was paralyzed in an off-duty accident last spring.
He fell from a billboard while working off-duty in McGregor, but a lot of good has been shown since as our community has rallied around him. Julie Hayes joins us with a touching update and today's Tell Me Something Good.
Tara and Justin, ground was just broken in late September for a new wheelchair-accessible home in Moody for Waco firefighter Garth Goodwin. But when firefighters found out this week that the work was just a little bit behind schedule, they rolled up their sleeves to help. Nearly a dozen Waco firefighters met at the construction site in Moody this morning to help tie the steel for the foundation. It's a job, well, none of these firefighters had ever done before, but they said they did it for Garth.
Garth and I worked together on Engine 90 for the last 3.5 years or so. He's a very good friend to everybody out here. He's a very good friend to everybody at the Waco Fire Department. And we're here to help.
Garth was actually out at the site today supporting his fellow firefighters and making sure that they had water or maybe even a beer waiting when they had a chance to take a break. The construction team consists of over 100 local businesses and people who just wanted to help. Now that is something good. They're hoping to have that home completed by the beginning of the year. Reporting for today's Tell Me Something Good, I'm Julie Hayes.
This was the first Garth Goodwin has spent in a wheelchair, but he still says he's very blessed. Goodwin was paralyzed in May after falling from a billboard. Following the tragedy, his fellow firefighters vowed to build him a house. And look at their progress. Today they're out in Moody doing electrical work. More than 100 local businesses are pitching in to help build the new wheelchair accessible home at no cost. They were hoping to have it finished by Christmas, but fell behind, so they're shooting for New Year's now. They're still needing sheetrock tape, bed and texture labor, as well as exterior siding with labor. Team Garth wants to thank everyone for their help up to this point. Sean, over to you.